At the intersection of Highway 70 and 155 in Wisconsin's North Woods, a tall figure stands with arms folded across his chest, stoic, strong, and unforgettable. For generations, the Chief St. Germain statue has greeted visitors to the town that shares his name. Though not based on a historical person, the statue has become a cultural landmark that embodies a deeper story, one of blended heritage, artistic passion, and the enduring spirit of a small Northwoods community. You're watching Connecting the Dots, reliving Northwoods history with Carrie Bladorn. To understand the roots of the name St. Germain, we must go back to the 16 and 1700s, when French explorers, fur traders, and missionaries traveled deep into the upper Great Lakes region. They were driven by the booming European demand for beaver pelts, prized for hat making. These French voyagers paddled thousands of miles across lakes and rivers, forging trade relationships with native tribes, including the Ojibwe, in what would become northern Wisconsin. Among these men was Jean-Francois St. Germain, a French soldier assigned to a remote trading post in what would become northern Wisconsin. While living in the New World, Jean fell in love with an Ojibwe woman. Rather than abandon his new family and return to France, he chose to remain in the region with his Ojibwe wife and live among her people. His descendants became part of the Lac de Flambeau band of Lake Superior Chippewa, and the St. Germain name left its mark on the region, from lakes like Big and Little St. Germain to local lore. Though there was never a specific figure known as Chief St. Germain, the name came to symbolize the blending of cultures and stories that defined the early history of the area. The town itself, originally called Farmington, hoped to find a better name to drive tourism, choosing Lakewood, and then adopting the more romantic name of St. Germain in 1930. In the mid-20th century, as tourism boomed in the Northwoods, the community sought a symbol of identity, something to reflect its heritage and welcome visitors. That vision came to life through the hands of local artist Neil Long of Sainer, Wisconsin. Neil Long was more than just a woodcarver. A World War II fighter pilot and lifelong outdoorsman, Long was also a self-taught artist, taxidermist, muralist, and craftsman. His taxidermy studio in Sainer was a wonder, filled with carving tools, painted muskie, mounted wildlife, and the scent of pine and varnish. He started carving at the age of 12 using a screwdriver and never stopped. According to Neil's son Art, who still lives in the Northwoods, his dad was commissioned to create the Chief St. Germain statue sometime in the late 1950s or early 60s. He carved it from large 6x6-inch timbers, then wrapped the structure in metal mesh and coated it with a waterproof concrete to protect it from the harsh weather. The figure was modeled after Neil's close friend and war buddy, Bill Maines. Bill was a strong, quiet, and dependable friend, and Neil saw in him the kind of calm, strength, and respect he wanted the statue to show. The statue was placed outside the St. Germain Chamber of Commerce, where it became an instant landmark. Families posed for photos, visitors asked about its origins, and for locals, it became a familiar and comforting presence. Over the years, Wisconsin's weather took a toll on the wooden and concrete statue. Sometime in the late 1990s or early 2000s, it was replaced with a fiberglass version, cast and painted by a local craftsman known only as Painter Bob. While the details of that process have faded from memory, the updated figure preserved Long's original vision. But time marched on, and by the 2020s, the fiberglass was showing cracks, and the base of the statue began to fail. The community faced a decision: retire the chief or restore him once again. In 2024, the Save the Chief Committee was formed, launching a fundraising effort supported by local organizations like the Women's Service Club and Northwoods Lions Clubs. Events were held, t-shirts sold, and donations poured in to save the chief. Restoration work was entrusted to Jacob Anderson of Advantage Restoration in Minocqua, who specialized in fiberglass boats. Anderson removed the statue in May, reinforced its internal structure with foam, repaired the fiberglass, repainted the surface, returning the chief to his former glory, this time built to last for generations to come. Though Chief St. Germain is not a literal historical figure, his story is deeply real. He represents the interwoven legacies of indigenous people and European settlers, the creativity of a self-taught artist, and the pride of a town that values its past. As travelers pass by, the chief continues to do what he's done for more than 70 years, stand tall, telling a story of the North Woods and reminding us that the strongest monuments aren't always built from stone, but from memory, craftsmanship, and community. I'm Kerry Bladorn, and you're watching Connecting the Dots, reliving Northwoods history on Newswatch 12.